all of the responsibilities are on me, and I can't get into my property. There's a leak in the property. The water bill is escalating. I can't get in there to see what's going on.
A D.C. homeowner claiming an Airbnb guest has overstayed their welcome and will not leave. In this story you'll only see on 7 News. We're digging into D.C. law, finding out there's not much that homeowner can do. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley spoke with the homeowner and tried to speak with the alleged squatter.
The alleged squatter originally got into the home through Airbnb, claiming that her apartment caught fire and it needed time to get repairs. Now that was back in February. Roshane Douglas says she didn't know she was opening her life up to a nightmare when she accepted Shadija Romero's Airbnb reservation almost 10 months ago. That reservation ended March 29th after 32 days, and Romero hasn't paid another dime. But living in the home for over a month apparently lets her claim some form of tenant rights, and she refuses to let Roshane enter the property.
I never gave her any tenancy. I never gave her a lease.
Roshane tried everything, gave her a 30-day notice to vacate, called police, went to court, and even offered Romero $2,500 to sign a paper admitting she's not a tenant and to get out. Romero signed the document but didn't budge.
November the 15th came and she told me, this no longer works for me. Do what you have to do. I'm not leaving. I went to the police with my order, and they said there's nothing that they can do, that I need to go to court, which I've done, and I do not have a court date until December the 11th.
Roshane put this sign up on her home so police and neighbors would know Romero was not authorized to be there. A sign Romero covered with a sheet.
I need police assistance.
I was there when police helped Roshane cut it down, while Romero hid inside.
It's shocking to me that you would abuse a system like that.
While all this is going on, Romero's social media shows her living her best life on trips. Cartwheel. And promoting her nonprofit. And Roshane is left paying thousands in attorney fees, the mortgage, and utilities for a home she can't even enter. I tried to get some answers from Romero, who was clearly inside the home, but she never came to the door. When a person walked out to her car, they didn't want to talk to us either. Roshane is waiting now for her court date next week, where she's hoping the judge's decision will allow U.S. Marshals to force her unwanted guest out once and for all. For now, reporting from Northeast D.C., Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
We are now hearing from the woman accused of taking over an Airbnb in Northeast D.C. The homeowner reached out to 7 on Your Side for help after that woman refused to leave. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley is now live outside the home. Felicia, you have a lot of updates on this case.
A lot, and it all happened as we were out here working on this story. First, you can see the homeowner was able to board up the home, but the guest was able to get back in. In addition to that, though, I was able to speak with the person the homeowner is accusing of squatting in her home. She stopped us as we were outside doing this story and invited us in.
The police allowed her to hire a locksmith and break in. She gave them no documents. She gave them no court orders. She gave them no lease. She just came and said, I'm locked out. This is taking me somewhere where I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to stay on the right, but for somebody to just take and do, everybody has a breaking point.
I went back to the property today and saw Child Services show up because Shadija brought her daughter into the home while there was no power or electricity inside. Police also showed up because the homeowner's truck went missing after Shadija got back in the house. And when Shadija cracked the door open to get a package, I saw what appears to be a candles and essential oils business inside.
This is unbelievable.
That led to a virtual emergency hearing today. In court, it was revealed that Shadija tried to push Roshane off a ladder, took the utilities out of the homeowner's name and put it in her daughter's name, tampered with cameras, requested that Roshane pay her back for the food lost when the power was turned off. Oh, and she asked the judge if she could question Roshane as a hostile witness. I was with Roshane as she attended the hearing from her car outside the home.
And the sad part is, I feel sorry for her. I really do. But your problem is, I can't help you. But I do truly feel sorry for her and her child and all of this. And I have a big heart, and this is the outcome of me having a big heart. But I really hope somebody can help her, but you can't do it at my expense. I don't have it. If if the judge doesn't give me some release, I'm gonna lose my property because I can't pay $4,000 a month and my other bills and my responsibilities like this. And there's no recourse for me.
Just moments ago, as we were working on this live shot and this report, Shadija came up to our car and said that we could finally speak to her. This is what she had to say, or part of what she had to say during our 15-minute conversation.
She said that we didn't have a lease, which we do not have a lease in place, but we did have an agreement for me to stay at the property beyond the initial Airbnb time frame. So she's been back to the property almost every day. They installed signs.
Now, coming up what happened today is that there was an emergency hearing because of everything that unfolded. In that hearing, the judge did tell Roshane she has to turn back on the electricity. Now, there is another hearing next week where the judge will decide whether Shadija can stay or if she has to go. Now, reporting live from Northeast DC, Felicia Ashley, 7.
Hey, this is kind of crazy right here. If you steal a car, you go to jail. But if you steal a house, you could just come on in, kick your feet up, and you know, pretty much live off of somebody else's hard work. And I'm 100% sure if you actually tried to pull this off in a hotel, you would get arrested. But it's crazy to me that when you use something like an Airbnb, which is similar to a hotel, right? You're renting or you're temporarily staying in a location. I feel like that they should have to be afforded the same the same rights as a hotel operator. But you don't really see this happen that often in DC. You see it more so in Baltimore because there are more vacant properties. But I haven't seen anybody in DC, take advantage of Airbnb or whatever, like in this fashion, especially in DC, because there aren't a lot of vacants. The squatting thing it's not a hustle in DC like how it is in Baltimore. In Baltimore, it is a hustle. Everybody knows the law. There are people out here that are professional squatters. They'll go squat somewhere. Once the time runs out, the court gets them removed. They'll go do it again, right? All over again. I think the hustle is, you get a utility turned on your name, or you get a piece of mail that comes to the home, and now you're officially a tenant there. And it's unfortunate, that even if the homeowner tried to forcibly remove this lady, she's going to jail. As you saw, she cut the utilities off, and the court is like, turn them back on. So it's kind of unfortunate. I think that to nip this in the bud or rectify this whole squatting thing, it has to be something on the federal level that makes it illegal, or that cuts down on the amount of time it takes to get somebody out. There needs to be a federal law. Individual cities and states doing this, it's not as effective. And part of the reason, tenants need rights, right? Obviously, right? If you're a renter, you need rights. However, when people take advantage of it to this capacity, as you can see, she mentioned in the story, she has a $4,000 mortgage. Okay. And the simple fact, it's kind of crazy to me that this lady stayed for 32 days, I believe it was 32 days, and only paid $2,400. Those numbers don't make sense to me. It's not supposed to make sense to me. It's not my property. But, that in itself, from a business perspective, doesn't make sense. And I get it. She's trying to, create an income and supplement the full mortgage or a lot of the mortgage. And I believe and I hope that I viewed that correctly, that it was 32 days for $2,400 or around in that amount. And she said her mortgage she's paying $4,000 a month to have this property. I think the best bet may be to find a permanent tenant after this, or sell the property. Again, I don't do Airbnb. I tell people all the time, I'm a real estate agent, and I've been in real estate for a long time. I tell people all the time, do it fit your personality. Airbnb doesn't fit my personality, and that's totally fine. It may fit yours, it may fit hers. That's totally fine. But after this, I will most definitely either switch or change, the business model. Get out of Airbnb and maybe just have a permanent tenant. And again, having a permanent tenant, you can run into the same issues, right? Where somebody stops paying and they know their rights, and now they're in there for. This lady was in there since February. Here it is December, and she's still in there. So today is December 9th, that she's supposed to have another court date on the 11th. And that's where the court will make a ruling on how they should move forward. But I wanted to just show this, for all people that want to be in Airbnb, everybody wants to be in real estate. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. There's always something with it, whether you're doing Airbnb, you got rental properties, you're flipping homes, you're building. There's always something with it, whether you go over budget, you're flipping a house and you find something in the house that you didn't budget for, so that adds to or takes away from your bottom line. It's always something in real estate. It's never sunshine and rainbows. I know you see that all over social media, and it makes you want to get into real estate. And every real estate transaction is never the same. I've seen this before. I've had sellers selling homes, and somebody ended up squatting in the home, and then that messes up the sale. They can no longer sell it. Now they got to battle with somebody in court. I just think that these people should be treated as intruders. Bottom line, you used Airbnb to get in there. You stayed past the amount of time. You all came up with an agreement that you signed. You didn't leave. I think that people should be able to be removed by whether it's state police in this situation, the DC police or U.S. Marshals, and just have them removed. It seems like it's something that is so simple, right? But the court system and the laws make it complicated. This right here, to me, is a no-brainer. And unfortunately, for Congress to pass something federally to handle this, you have to have lobbying, and there's just a whole lot of stuff that has to be done to get Congress to do anything. Because these motherfuckers, they don't do shit all day. Okay, it's a fucked up situation, and I don't think we'll see a change in something like this until Congress, until it happens to them. Okay, they're in DC and somebody goes and squats in their house somewhere, in another state, and hopefully she gets some sort of recourse, and most likely she won't get any type of monetary compensation out of this. And this lady done opened up the trap in her house. She got her business going. She's on social media like it's all good. This is just this isn't it. This isn't it. And if you decide to get into real estate, whether it's a rental, flipping, whatever, Airbnb, whatever, understand the laws, understand the tenant laws. I know that there are some states that are starting to change some of this to combat this. I believe Georgia changed some things. I believe Texas changed some things. But I think there needs to be federal legislation that needs to be passed and signed into law that completely gets rid of squatting altogether. So that way, I don't think it's fair that she has to be on the losing end of her own property. Now, there are some people that would have handled this differently, and she was nice about it. She said, "Hey, I'll give you $2,500, just get out." Right? We call that cash for keys. That's something that that's a strategy in Baltimore when somebody ends up with a squatter. So it's like, look, let's not go to court. Like, all of this court stuff, it's going to cost time. It's going to cost money. Let me just give you $2,500. You get the fuck out. And there are some people that take that. She should have took that. She could have took that $2,500 and went and stayed at a hotel, right? But obviously she has other plans. And signing this document and then saying, "Nah, I'm staying," and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, again, it's a hustle, and it's kind of messed up. And I really feel sorry for this lady. It's going to leave a bad taste in her mouth. Hopefully, she doesn't look at real estate like never again, because you can definitely make money in real estate. You can definitely build wealth in real estate. You can definitely create some sort of cash flow. You can definitely reduce your tax liabilities with real estate. But, this is unfortunate. I've never seen anybody in DC do this. Again, there aren't that many vacants in DC, and it's not a hustle in DC. In Baltimore, yes, it is a hustle. And the other hustle is people getting on Facebook Marketplace and getting on Craigslist. They may find a vacant home and they'll say, "Hey, you can rent this home. Come with your deposit, no credit check, no nothing." And people will show up with the money, give the people the keys, and then run off with the money. And they aren't an agent. They aren't a property manager. They don't own the home. And they just, that's one hustle that I've seen. And people end up accidentally being squatters because they thought they were really renting the home. And most of those people that I've seen actually left once they figured out that they were duped. So this unfortunate. I hope this lady gets recourse, at least gets the people out as soon as possible, so that she can do what she needs to do to recoup her losses and just move on. It's in my opinion, you know, if she doesn't plan on having a long-term tenant, I think it's best that she just sells the property and just, you know, cuts her losses and get out of the property. I'm not sure if it was her previous or former primary residence, if there's some sentimental value attached to this property. I would just get rid of it at this point, because, you know, this is too much. And again, it's not for everybody. You know, if there are some people out here that have the money that can, you know, sustain this and fight this court battle, and it doesn't really affect their pockets. They're like, well, I'll just pay the mortgage and I'll just get these people out, move on to the next, do it all over again. So again, everybody's situation is different. It's always good to have some type of reserve funds. And even still, right, it's not this homeowner's fault. It's just it's a part of the game, you know, and some people just hustle and just take advantage of good people that are actually trying to help.